you can read 1,000 books on sailing and it doesn't make you a sailor. Likewise, you can read 1,000 articles on building and it doesn't make you a builder. If you add up the expertise or the experience that we have among the crew, the guys who work for HomeWrights, we've got well over 100 years of experience among our guys. And that probably equates to something like 200,000 or more hours of experience. So, and it's that experience makes it possible for you to deal with the subtle things, the things that aren't immediately obvious. Was talking to a potential client yesterday about examples of those things, and the one that just immediately popped into my head, and it did so because we're working with another client on that very issue right now, is when you select your appliances, it is, especially with modern appliances, and especially with modern refrigeration equipment, refrigerators and freezers, it's imperative that the water feed and the electrical feed for those appliances be located in precisely the right place, so that water and electricity, is correctly delivered. It used to be that we'd put a small water feed behind the refrigerator where we thought the refrigerator was going to be, and we'd put a plug in the wall right behind the refrigerator. You can't do that anymore. You've got to know precisely where those things go, and that information is available when you're purchasing or designing your kitchen. When you're purchasing your appliances or designing your kitchen, that information is readily available, but you still got to know where to find it, and you got to know to look for it. And not everybody realizes that that's a critical part of kitchen design, and it has impacts that ripple all the way back into the framing of the house. And so we got to get it right early on, and an experienced builder knows that. We know that, but a homeowner might not find that out even if they read 2,000 or 3,000 articles.
Right, I wouldn't even know to ask about that, or
right.
Not even a consideration.
Pretty simple thing, but it's a pretty important thing too.
And so I've been amazed at the number of clients that I've interviewed for HomeWrights who are first-time builders. How does that work? How gutsy do you need to be to do this?
That's really an interesting way to put it. They're first-time builders, but I think the common thread among all of them is they're scholars, and I don't necessarily mean that they're folks who have gone to college or have a higher education, but they're people who study. They're people who are not afraid to jump in and learn. In fact, most of them are people who see learning as a lifelong thing. It's there's a segment of the population that is just that way. They love to learn, yeah, and they will learn all their lives. And I think that's the common thread among our clients. They're scholars. They are courageous in that they know that they're going to undertake something that not everybody does. Yeah, we're not sending them to the moon. They're not going to walk on the moon, but at the same time, they are in uncharted territory as far as they're concerned.
But they're also going to be putting $100,000 or $200,000 in equity in their pocket, possibly too, right?
Very likely. Yeah, that's pretty common. I think pretty common experience for most of our clients. And of course, as the real estate market in Denver grows, and the value of these projects grow, that number is increasing. I think. We just left, Steve, you and I just left a house in Five Points that I'd be surprised when that's done. I'd be surprised if our client doesn't realize $600,000 or $700,000 in instant equity. A large part of that is due to the fact that they chose to manage this project. Part of that is due to the fact that the Denver market is a robust market and it's improving, and that's great. They're going to benefit from that, but they're benefiting mightily from their efforts to manage this project with our help.
And the traditional construction approach, go out and find the turnkey contractor, means that contractor would have put $600,000 or $700,000 in his or her pocket, right?
Maybe not, but it would have been a substantial number. And it's particularly true in the case of the house we just left, because this particular client is an extremely particular client. And this particular client benefited an awful lot from the fact that they were able to design some of these things, design some of the features of this house as the house was being built. Not everything was spelled out on the house plans. So this particular client had the latitude to make a lot of changes and a lot of selections during the construction process.
But those changes didn't cost them extra money because they were the contractor.
Exactly right. Had they used a traditional or a turnkey approach, every change, every inkling of a change would have cost substantial time and money in a traditional approach.
All right, so that brings us back to the 10,000 hours to become an expert. So they are able to tap into HomeWrights, 200,000 hours of expertise to uncover or discover things that they just had no way of knowing.
To uncover or discover, exactly right. But also to direct them, or in some cases to keep them from making some potentially very expensive mistakes.